Hey, you guys. For a lot of you who've been with me since the beginning, you know that I'm a huge fan of Rick and Morty. Ever since they crashed into The Simpsons in the beginning, you know how The Simpsons, they have like guest artists come on and do like a little beginning sketch. I was very interested. We don't get too many science heroes, and it just really piqued my interest, especially somebody who's funny in a very smart and sarcastic way. When I put a post, because I have a lot of Rick and Morty love and merchandise that I just collect. Not as much as Hello Kitty, but I love them so much. I'm looking at all the magnets I've made of Rick and Morty. But I was really sad because when I posted, somebody and a good person's looking out for me and the community, that there was some pedophilia stuff coming up with Dan Harmon. So of course I had to look into it, and there was a video that he had made 11 years ago in poor taste, and he acknowledged that. And Dan had even went on Twitter to apologize for making that. It was a pilot, supposed to be a parody on Dexter. You'll have to see it for yourself. Being somebody who had a very dark childhood, and when I say that, I mean exactly what you guys think. So I don't appreciate the comedy of that, or whatever you want to call it. To condemn Dan on something disgusting and with poor lack of judgment, in my humble opinion, I think is too far. If he himself were doing these things, involved in these things, then that is for somebody to judge him, somebody in authority. If he is doing this thinking it's comedy or it's funny or whatever, and maybe some people think it is, but for somebody who was a victim of that type of thing and who knows others who have been in that position, in my humble opinion, it isn't funny. Rape culture is not funny. Pedophilia to me is not funny. Rick and Morty is funny. Rick and Morty make me interested in what's out there, in space, in the unknown, in things that are beyond me. I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination. The little bit that I know, it intrigues me to hear. I mean, and now there's this man, James, is a biophysicist, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say. I'm hoping he's a fan also. I'm in no way excusing Dan for his past, what he's done, for making that Daryl parody of Dexter. But at the same time, if we are looking for somebody to take our anger out on, I think that's pretty petty. If he is a good person and we're hurting him, how is that being fair? He apologized and he feels that deeply. I remember an episode in Rick and Morty where there was a Mr. Jellybean. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I should have had that up for you guys. I really honestly love Rick and Morty so much. And Morty, Mr. Jellybean episode. It's this guy, okay? And
How are you?
he tries to come on to poor Morty. And it's disgusting because he's like, you just come on and, you know, he's like, you know, you want it and all this kind of stuff. And at first he's being nice to Morty's like having a really great day, and the Jellybean's like, yeah, you should have a great day and all this kind of stuff, and it's nice to meet you, Morty, and all this stuff. And then it becomes weird. He starts touching on Morty, and Morty's like, I'm not feeling comfortable with you doing this. To me, this was a real teachable moment. I feel that in this instance, this is something in a later time I can show my children. Do you see the way that this person or this Jellybean is acting? Looking very friendly, looking very nice, and touching this boy, which could be you guys. This is not okay. If you feel like you're uncomfortable or this person is being in your space, you can tell that person. And that's exactly what Morty did. He said, hey, no, this is not cool. This Jellybean did not stop. Started becoming more aggressive. Started shoving on Morty, pulling Morty, telling Morty stuff in his ear. I'll let it play for
this happened.
Get off of me! Sweet home!
So Rick is out there singing Sweet Home Alabama with a bunch of like friendly little characters. Meanwhile, Morty is fighting with the Jellybean in the restroom. I want to take all their stuff, but Rick, and I just love Rick. Rick is leaving him alone. So here we go.
No! Please!
Stop being such a fucking tease, you sweet little twat!
No!
And I think this is good on the part of Morty because he fights out. And this is exactly what I would tell my kids. If there's ever an incident where you feel you have to do this to defend yourself. So, to me, it was almost full circle. Now knowing what I know now about Dan, maybe he tried to make up for it. Feeling bad about doing that pilot and getting the feedback that he did from the community. Maybe he felt like, okay, people are still outraged, and they should be, about rape culture. It's not cool, especially ever towards anyone that it's harming, especially ever towards children, babies. I mean, I almost lost my breakfast. It just is beyond. So that's what I would like to say about that. I'll do another video for this gentleman because I don't feel it's fair to go into that and then segue to this Mr. James, the biophysicist. So let me just send this out. But I didn't want to just be like, well, I'm just going to keep watching Rick and Morty because this is just my choice. I would like to hear from you guys what you think. Let me see. I don't believe it's readily available. Let me see. Dan, Harmon, Daryl, Skit, or pilot video. I don't know if you can watch it. See, and it was 11 years ago.
This is Dan Harmon.
Okay, before I put this, I want you guys to know this is sensitive material. If you do not want to watch him fake raping a baby doll, turn this off now. I'm having real problems with my headset. I'm gonna have to just buy headphones and just deal with it. So anyway, let's see if this works. Remember, this is sensitive material. Do not allow children to watch this unless it is you're the parental guardian and that's your right. But I am telling you, this is disturbing content. Even though this is a skit and it's a parody of Dexter. So.
Creator of Rick and Morty. He calls this a pilot. A pilot episode is an episode that's used to promote.
I didn't know that somebody was going to narrate this. I don't want that. It's age restricted. I think they took it off YouTube. Let me see if I could go to on Daily Mail. For some reason, Daily Mail has you guys, if you want to watch it, why don't you guys go? I'm pretty sure you guys can find it yourself, obviously. It's just not good. Ooh. I guess a lot of people have already spoken about it. Is this it?
Hey guys. Welcome to Couple. Please.
Okay, so maybe this, I'll just show you guys the gist of it. Probably the wrong use of words there. I just don't want to hear.
This is Dan Harmon, creator of Rick and Morty.
I just don't want to hear anybody speaking. Okay, so the gist of this being, this is Dan from like 11 years ago, okay? And he's pretending to be like some kind of therapist, right? Yeah, let's see.
New pilot, Daryl. Now, I have to warn you, I originally made it with Showtime for their audience because it's a little groundbreaking for normal people to handle.
And what he means by normal people is people like, for instance, you and I, who, why would we watch anything remotely like this? And to me, as a normal person, watching Rick and Morty is at times like, what the heck? But I'm very open-minded. I'm open-minded to music. I'm open-minded to different television things. I'm open-minded to people. Most of my family, like I said, is Democrat. Being at my Uncle Dan's barn, there was tension, but because we're family, we make it work. So I'm not saying like that has anything to do with this. I'm just saying that I have a big heart, and I always want to know all sides. I don't know Dan. I'm not trying to justify anything so I can continue to watch whatever I want to watch. I have my own children. I have my own problems. This is for you to decide for yourself. But I don't want to see somebody get canceled because everybody hates Trump. And Trump was destroyed and taken off Twitter. So now everybody has to jump on Dan Harmon for the same reason that everybody jumped on Trump. And since Trump is gone off Twitter now, it's Dan's turn to be off Twitter. I don't think that's fair. If we keep censoring people because of, we just dislike what they do, we're stopping people from being creative. And this is subjective creativity. I understand that. I'm not saying this is the kind of creativity I like. No, I would rather see Rick and Morty creativity. That's what I'm saying. But if we keep stopping people from being and doing what they do, what's the point of America? That's all. And maybe that makes no sense.
Being such a good patient.
Okay, so the therapist tells the dad, and here's the dad, go ahead and give the patient sleeping pills, which is the baby, and all this kind of stuff. And so he's narrating, oh good, yes, you took all the sleeping pills and stuff.
Taking all the sleeping pills I prescribed to you, so that later tonight, when I'm crawling in your window, I can count on you to sleep like a baby. Will I do everything but sleep with yours?
So obviously, not what anybody wants to see. At all. Please let me know what your comments are, what your thoughts are. Are we a mob? Are we so quick to... Because when I was told in the comments by a good Samaritan, hey, this guy is a pedophiliac, right away, my safety barometer was all over the place. I had to figure this out, find this out for myself. And when I found out it was this, and then there was something with Megan, Dan, Harmon, and Megan Ganz. So he harassed her. I mean, I'm just gonna put it all out there. I'm not trying to be a jerk for in any way, shape, or form to Mr. Dan Harmon at all. I'm just trying to show you that I'm being very transparent here. He, in his own words, this is what he said. Community creator Dan Harmon issued a detailed apology for acting inappropriately toward former community writer Megan Ganz following a recent Twitter dialogue between the two over his behavior. On the latest episode of Harmontown podcast, which I don't listen to, Harmon said he abused both Ganz and his position of power by sexually harassing her during the time she worked on the series. That right there shows me somebody who's human. Shows me somebody who has feelings and realized he screwed up. He messed up. Am I saying, oh, boys will be boys and men will be men and da-da-da? No, they shouldn't be that way. They should realize. But as I read this article, he was very smitten with her. I can't say in love with her because I wasn't there to see this. I don't know them. I didn't talk to them. But I feel he had feelings, deep feelings. So, and did she deserve this? Absolutely not. No. And that doesn't make it right. But he didn't cover this up like so many of the Me Too predators out there. Oh, well, she's just going to take it and that's just too bad. No, he said, this is what I did and I was wrong. So I commend him for that, because that is a step in, I am wrong, I apologize, I accept that this is my mistake, and it is a bad mistake, and I abuse not just you, but this power that I have. He is asking for help. People keep me in check, because this is wrong, and I should not ever do this, not just to Megan, but to anyone. So, it says, the most clinical way I can put it in fessing up to my crimes, and he said crimes, and I think that is good that he labeled it himself, is that I was attracted to a writer I had power over because I was a showrunner and I knew enough to know that these feelings were bad news, he said. Harmon went on to explain that he thinks the problem was both caused and worsened by his refusal to think about the consequences of his actions. I lied to myself the entire time about it. I lost my job. I ruined my show. I betrayed the audience. I destroyed everything, and I damaged her internal compass, he said. And I moved on. I've never done it before, and I will never do it again, but I certainly wouldn't have been able to do it if I had any respect for women. On a fundamental level, I was thinking about them as different creatures. I was thinking about the ones that I liked as having some special role in my life, and I did it all by not thinking about it. Ganz took to Twitter on Thursday to publicly forgive Harmon, calling his admission a masterclass in how to apologize. I was attracted to an employee. I really want to be really careful about that language because a huge part of the problem is a culture of feeling things that you think are unique and significant because they're happening to you, and saying things like, I had feelings for and I fell for and all these things. The most clinical way I can put it in fessing up to my crimes is that I was attracted to a writer I had power over because I was a showrunner and I knew enough to know that these feelings were bad news. That was easy enough to know. I knew that they ran the risk of undercutting people's faith in my judgment, her faith in her talent, the other writers' respect for me, the entire production, the audience. I knew I wasn't doing anybody any favors by feeling these things, and so I did the cowardly, easiest, laziest thing you can do with the feelings like that and didn't deal with them. And in not dealing with them, I made everybody else deal with them, especially her. Flirty, creepy, everything other than overt enough to constitute betraying your live-in girlfriend, who you're going home to every night, who is actually smart enough and respectful enough to ask you, do you have feelings for that young writer that you're talking about, that you're paying all this attention to, and saying to her no. Because the trick is, if you lie to yourself, you can lie to everybody. It's really easy. And so that's what I continue to do, telling myself and anybody that threatened to confront me with it, that if you thought what I was doing was creepy or sexist or unprofessional, it was because you were the sexist or jealous. I was supporting this person. I'm a mentor. I'm a feminist. It's your problem, not mine. You're the one who actually has seen things through that lens. And so I let myself keep doing it, and it's not as if this person didn't repeatedly communicate to me the idea that what I was doing was divesting her of a recourse to integrity. I just didn't hear it because it didn't profit me to hear it. And this was, after all, happening to me, right? After a season of playing it that way, I broke up with my girlfriend, who I had lied to the whole time while lying to myself. Lied to her about why I was breaking up with her because I thought that would make having inappropriate feelings for a coworker appropriate if I wasn't involved. I want you to be the one to examine this and every step of the way decide for yourself where I'm making mistakes. I don't want to explain to you what I've learned. I want you to look at this, and I want it to sound relatively unremarkable to you, because that's the danger. I broke up with my girlfriend, and then I went right full steam into creeping on my employee. Now, it was less appropriate after all. Now, I wasn't in danger of being a bad person. After that season, I got overt about my feelings after it wrapped. I said, I love you, and she said the same thing she had been saying the entire time, in one language or another. Please. Don't you understand that focusing on me like this, preferring me like this, liking me like this, I can't say no to it, and when you do it, it makes me unable to know whether I'm good at my job. And because I finally got to the point where I said to her, I love you because that's what I thought it was. When you target somebody for 2 years and it was therefore rejected that way, I was humiliated. So I continued to do the cowardly thing. I continued to do the selfish thing. Now I wanted to teach her a lesson. I wanted to show her that if she didn't like being liked in that way, then oh boy, she should get over herself. After all, if you're just going to be a writer, then this is how just writers get treated. Wow. How many people treat other people like this? And that was probably the darkest of it all. I'm going to assume when she tweets about it and refers to trauma, that's probably it. I drank, I took pills, I crushed on her and resented her for not reciprocating it, and the entire time I was the one writing her paychecks and in control of whether she stayed on or went and whether she felt good about herself or not, and said horrible things, just treated her cruelly, pointedly things I would never ever would have done if she had been male, and if I had never had those feelings for her. And I lied to myself the entire time about it. I lost my job, I ruined my show, I betrayed the audience, I destroyed everything, and I damaged her internal compass, and I moved on. I've never done it before, and I will never do it again. But I certainly wouldn't have been able to do it if I had any respect for women. Key point. Him doing this shows that he does have a moral compass. His feelings were overwhelming. To him, it was real. He's not a coward. He came forward and said all these things very publicly. And he's getting judged for it. And he knows it. Are we just gonna lambaste him for it? Or are we gonna say, wow, we've been there. It hurts. Or are we gonna just be like, wow, you're just the biggest creep on the earth, you know? Who are we to judge? Now, there's a big difference between creeping on somebody to this monumental extent and being a pedophile. That is crossing the line, because children do not have they they're too little to tell you no. They are easily malleable, meaning their minds are, they have no experience to tell you in no uncertain terms, this is not my fault, this is your problem. They are children that deserve all the rights to protect them. They're there for a reason. It is illegal to do anything with minors for a reason, because it is no fault of their own. They are vulnerable. Point blank. I cannot stress that enough. If you are out there and you have some kind of hang up about children, you need to seek help. You need that. And I don't care what lie you're trying to tell yourself, you need to seek help, because that person will resent you for the rest of your life. Whoever that child or minor or baby or whatever, you will have ruined their life. I am telling you. You will never have made it better. And if you don't care, you're not ever somebody that is worth knowing. So I just want to say, in addition to obviously being sorry, but that's really not the important thing. I want to say I did it by not thinking about it, and I got away with it not thinking about it. And if she hadn't mentioned something on Twitter, I would have continued not think about it. Although I did walk around with my stomach in knots about it, but I wouldn't have had to talk about it. The last and most important thing I can say is just think about it. No matter who you are at work, no matter where you work, and what field you're in, no matter what position you have over, under, or side by side with somebody, just think about it. Because if you don't think about it, you're going to get away with not thinking about it, and you can cause a lot of damage that is technically legal and hurts everybody. And I think we're living in a good time right now, because we're not going to get away with it anymore. If we can make it part of our culture that we think about it and possibly talk about it, then maybe we can get to a better place where that stuff doesn't happen. And that is an absolute fact. If we keep censoring everyone and not being able to talk about things that are real problems, things are going to continue to get swept under the rugs. People need to come forward. Me Too is a real thing, and if those people are lying about their Me Too movement or their own whatever they say happened to them, whether it be rape or assault, those lies will be found out. So whether they're the victim or the predator, those lies will come to light. Everything comes to light. And I think the more that we put that out there, the more power is given to, obviously, the power should be given to the right people. Whether it be the parents of the minor, whether it be the person that was assaulted, they feel like they have a little bit more control when they didn't before. But it should never be, let's just sweep everything under the rug and let's not think about it, let's forget about it. No. Obviously, this man is sorry. That is my thinking. You guys can totally disagree with me. You guys maybe know more than I do. I don't know. I'm talking from a victim standpoint. And I see this as he's lived through a lot. He's lived through a time that women probably didn't mean that much. And comedy was able to take such risks, and you could say such things. And I've seen it evolve, and you guys have seen some of the comedy skits that I've reacted to, and I do love In Living Color because they push the envelope. And when we stop letting comedians talk about such things or letting them have their point of view, whether it be just to poke at one another or poke fun at the political climate because we're so sensitive or butthurt about it, we're just making everything able to be canceled. If you cancel everything and everybody's so sensitive, how do we get anything done? How do we fix anything? That is just my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. We have too many people that are so above and beyond sensitive. We're not going to get anywhere with that. I tell my kids that all the time. If I can't raise my voice, because for the 225th time today, I've told you, pick up your toys or brush your teeth. I'm not going to say it again, and I'm saying it for the 250 billionth time. There has to be a change. There has to be a repercussion, whether it's grounding or the TV gets turned off or something. So that's it. Don't hurt her. Please don't make this worse on anybody but me. And I think everybody has. So is this going to affect me if you guys destroyed Dan Harmon's life? I'm going to feel sad for him. Is this over maybe? Did I come at this too late? Possibly. But it will still bother me. I feel he isn't alone. I feel there's a lot of people that have made mistakes. Maybe not as publicly as he. But he created something I feel so many people enjoy. It is young and old alike. The sad thing is he has to drink to get into these characters. And sometimes genius comes from the weirdest places. And maybe you guys disagree. Like, maybe you guys hate Rick and Morty. My brother doesn't like it. Maybe you guys know something I don't. But this is something I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to leave any stone unturned. And you guys let me know how you feel. If you feel like, no, this guy is just, there's no salvation for him, and why. Or if you guys feel like, okay, yeah, his skit was horrendous. It was the most disgusting skit ever in the entire world. It was bad form. Through and through. But it's not 11 years later reflecting on Rick and Morty. I would love to hear that. That would make me feel better. Because that's how I feel. I just would like to know what your guys' viewpoint is. Alright, I'm going. I just couldn't go on doing what I do throughout my day, having this replay in my mind and not share with you guys. So anyway, okay, I'm going. Bye. I'm going to do the biophysicist one next. Okay, bye. Love you guys. Stay out of the sun. Be good. We're almost in August.